Hey mamas, it's Kristen Noel, founder of the Intuitive Divorce, and I'm popping on here right after class with my beautiful team member, Master Coach Joe Young, and a big exhale because
Yeah.
we did something that we haven't done before, which was we graduated a whole cohort, and it's actually our last class of this year. Not our last class, just our last class of this year because we've got a lot coming up with the holidays. We've got a lot going on in our business, and we have new offerings coming. And we're super excited to relaunch the program in the new year. But we just wanted to hop on and share a little bit about this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful class. And more importantly, this container that was created, made up of women who are just like you going through very similar experiences, ups, downs, all arounds, navigating the messiness of divorce, not really sure. When they first started, they just really weren't sure what they were doing, what steps to take, how to protect their kids, what decisions to make. It was just a lot of overwhelm, a lot of anxiety, a lot of feelings. And we were laughing a little bit today because some of them really shared their stories, where they were, how they came to us, what condition they were in. And and we were laughing because we could all relate, late night scrolling, came across our ad, heard our podcast, whatever it was that
Sitting in Target parking lot. I think
we heard it all. We heard it all. And it was just really moving, not only to hear these stories, but to witness the transformation that these women have made. And they made this transition because they invested in themselves. And when I say invested in themselves, they found the time. These are all women who are all over the map. They're running businesses, they are, running households, they've got complicated lives, lots of varying circumstances, up in their emotions and their own healing journey. It was a lot. It was really a lot, but they found a way to invest in the condition that they were in while divorcing. And it was like
Mm.
just hearing them speak today was literally like a marketing strategy session in motion, right? I was like, "Oh, I got to write that down." That's really,
Hmm.
but it's just beautiful to witness. It's really, really beautiful to witness when a woman reclaims her life, when she comes back alive, when she reclaims. It was interesting. I was writing a little bit of a toast to each of them in celebration of this class. And there were so many cross themes and so many things that really related to everybody that was in that container. But the one word that came up to me that was kind of just like floating around in the background as I was writing was worthiness, and how they had each leaned into their own worthiness, what it was that needed to be leaned into. And it comes in many forms, right? Needing to be seen, needing to be heard, needing to be validated, needing to advocate for self. I guess the most important thing I want to share with you is that they felt the way you feel. They felt many of the same fears, much of the same anxiety, much of the same emotional turmoil. And just being able to see this transformation, it's the best job in the world.
Oh my gosh, it absolutely is. I mean, I am always in awe of how honored I feel to be a part of the journey for each one of them, for them to be able to share their stories too, honors themselves in such a beautiful way. And we got to witness that today. It was really amazing. But yeah, I agree with you, Kristen. Like, they feel exactly like you feel. Like we heard time and time again, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. I'd never been able to say the things out loud to anybody that I've been able to say to this group, and knew that I didn't have to explain myself. I didn't know that I had the support like this that was possible. And what they've built together, I mean, we have been truly blessed and honored to be with them. But what they've built together as the group for each other was also just so touching to witness today. And I think when you embark on this divorce journey, you just feel like you're in a silo, that
Mhm.
you're so alone and that nobody gets it and no one understands. And you're so worried about what other people are going to think or how they're going to feel and how what's going to happen with your children, all the fears, right? And this was such an affirmation that when you show up and say, I don't want to do it alone, it is
Mhm.
shocking the support that comes pouring in.
Mhm.
It's, I don't know why it's still shocking to me because I see it each and every time. But I guess it's more, I'm just in awe of the support that they're able to give each other as well as showing up for themselves in such beautiful ways.
Well, the biggest thing is, and I know this is really hard to wrap your head around, when you are first facing off with divorce, or when you're curious, or you're in the midst of one, or things have gotten messy, it's very hard to prioritize your emotional well-being because the conventional narrative tells us, wait, I've got to pay a big retainer and I've got to get an attorney and we've got to figure out the assets and I'm worried about my kids and I'm worried about, all these other things. But the reality is your emotional state will determine and imprint and impact all of those other things you're going to have to show up for. So it's
100%.
it's really a hard thing to wrap your head around and to, you're feeling like you're at, you just don't have capacity for everything. But when a woman can realize that she needs to own her worthiness, that she needs to step in and support her emotional well-being, and understand that by doing so, she is setting herself up to get the best outcomes, to have the best experience, to be able to show up for her kids, to be able to make decisions, and to trust herself. And what we always say, we know this, we're, working in the background, but I love when we see it in motion is that they realize that it changes the way you move through life for every day forward. It
Yes.
changes
How many
everything.
times did we hear today?
Yeah.
I thought I was coming in for this divorce strategy, and I certainly got that. What I didn't realize was that it was going to shift my career. It was going to shift the other relationships that I have in my life. It was going to shift how I feel about moving forward, all of those things. Like it is not just one thing because you are the common denominator in all of that.
Hmm.
So when you shift, all of your choices and decisions are impacted. So I love that you brought that up because it's so true. I mean, how you show up is how you will make the decisions going forward that are so vital for you to wrap your head around right now.
I mean, people often say, what's an intuitive divorce? Sure, intuition, it sounds great. It's a buzzword. Of course, I want to be aligned with my intuition. The core tenet of an intuitive divorce is trusting yourself.
Mm.
And we get so far away from that, we don't even realize. And so you have to sort of slowly, gently nurture and honor and support yourself and get back to that. Get back to your intuition, get back to your heart so that you can make decisions that are aligned with who you are and what you want for yourself, for your children, for your future. And stop taking polls from everybody else and listening to all the noise around you. It doesn't mean that the decisions are easy, but it means that this is your life and I'm taking agency over it. And I'm going to be living with these decisions when all the other players go home. Everybody's going to go back to their lives at the end of this divorce. You will be left with these decisions. So you want to make decisions from the most grounded place that you can be in. And divorce is hard and it's messy and it's full of triggers and it's full of emotions, but it doesn't mean that life stops. And there are so many ways that you can stay alive, live, laugh, be joyful, be present with your kids, and divorce, and move into these next chapters. I'm not turning this into a Hallmark greeting card in any stretch of the imagination, but it is a way to mitigate suffering. And it is a way to just get out in front of the chaos and say, nope, not doing it that way anymore. Those old patterns of behavior aren't working for me. So when you get into this grounded space, when you begin to start realigning with your intuition, you start setting healthy boundaries. You start communicating in new ways, very consciously, very clearly, very firm, and you start to come alive again. And you start to remember who you are. And you start to remember the things that are important to you. And it is felt by everyone around you. And your house becomes a new place. And the energy is set by you.
Yeah, it's beautiful work, and I love that you brought that up because when our relationships are not healthy, almost the first thing to go always is self-trust. You know,
Mm.
we start to doubt all the feelings we're having. We start to doubt how we're handling things. We start to really doubt ourselves in a big way. And so, you know, imagine trying to go in and make these tough decisions with attorneys and finances and all the things if you are filled with self-doubt, right?
Or just
So
stressed
the
out.
first thing we do is yes, yes. So coming back to self, learning how to trust yourself again, remembering how to trust yourself again, I should say, is is the first piece of it, and it is what carries you through, and it is what it means to be in alignment with your intuition. You have to learn how to trust that, how to listen to that, how to pay attention to that, so that you get to divorce the way you choose to divorce. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that came up today was really this notion of self-care, which can sound like another buzzword, right? But it's like
Mhm.
radical self-care. It's not just the green juices, not just the yoga classes, and that's all great, bring it on. But it is also figuring out what fills my cup. What fills my cup? What action can I take today to change my reality, to change my physical circumstances? What's going to make me feel better today? I'm not saying it's going to solve the divorce isn't going to be over, but there's always something we can do to help us shift out of deflating, thinking, something that's dragging us down, something that's triggering us, something that's causing anxiety. How do we interrupt it? That is one of the most beautiful things that we work on over and over again because trust me, you're going to be triggered. Trust
Mm.
me, you're going to want to, like, smack something. There are going to be these moments where you're just going to be all up in the feels. You're navigating new territory. You're coming up against the edge of your comfort zone. And we teach ways to interrupt that spiral down, interrupt that old limited thinking and that old pattern of behavior that comes rolling in and tries to grab you by the arm and take you down a dark hallway. It's like, no, 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 no. There's a new mama in town, and she's learning how to advocate for herself, and she's learning to ask for help, and she's getting support, and she is healing, and she
Mm.
is coming alive again.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to witness, and we see it time and time again because they made the investment in themselves,
Mhm.
in wanting to do things differently, in wanting to come out on the other side, being a different version of who they are right now. And we see it happen throughout this course over and over.
And also to just build on that for a second, when you start to do that, it's not like, oh, I have to wait till the divorce is over. This is happening in real time right now. You can shift your thinking. You can shift the way you're being. You can shift the way you're communicating. You can shift the way you are seeing the world and the story you're telling right now. And by the way, when you start to do that little bit by little bit by little bit, it trickles into everything. So we were hearing all these gorgeous stories about how women are just cutting through the chaos at work, how they are cutting through the chaos at home, how they are cutting, just transforming their lives completely. You're not in a silo. This is your life. So, how you are showing up for this divorce is impacting everything. And this is why we are so dedicated to this work because we know that there is a better path to a better divorce. And the women that are doing it are healing. They are divorcing smarter, they're healing faster, they're protecting their kids, and they are reclaiming their lives. And I'm just telling you, it is absolutely glorious to witness. And while the word worthiness came up today, and I was reminding them of all the things that they are worthy of, I felt so honored to just be worthy to get to do this work with them and to walk
Mm.
beside them and to reflect back to them all that they desire and all that they want to become, and all their strength and courage and beauty and vulnerability and heart.
Yeah, was really something to hear you recount where you saw them at the beginning and where they are now, and then to see them do that for themselves.
Mhm.
What do we say? We called it today, like putting evidence in the bank. That's the
Oh, I
evidence
loved that
bank.
term. I love that term that you, yeah. Okay, so Joe's term, we could do a whole, we'll have to do another whole session on this one. But one of the things, and one of the ways that we really try, it's a tool that we give to our mamas and remind them of all the time to help them interrupt their own spiral down, like when they get triggered or they get aggravated or they get upset about something, is to really recount where they were and where they are now, what they've had the courage to face, what they have already triumphed over, what they transformed that they didn't think was possible. What did
What
they
they've survived,
what they survived,
even.
what they faced off. Well, so
Hmm.
anyway, we take all of that and we ask them, don't bypass that. Don't forget about that. We want you to put that in the evidence bank so that when you are having a day where you are triggered, when you are having a day where you are feeling down, when you are having a day you're deflated and exhausted and just feel like you're at capacity and you can't take anymore, you take yourself to the evidence bank. And you go in there and you go into that ATM and you pull out something that you need that's going to remind you of who you are and what you want and what you've already accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been so beautiful. As they were making comments today, we'd say,
Yeah.
deposit
Yeah.
that, put
I
that
know.
in the bank.
Yeah. Well,
It's the
because
best.
mothers, of course, they just
Mhm.
gloss over things. They just
Yeah.
like they're on to the next thing. I'm on to the next thing on the to-do list. And that is okay. Life is full and it is beautiful. But I also do not want you to bypass all the goodness, all that you've done right, all that you've triumphed over, all that you've made it through. Like Joe said, all that you've survived.
Hmm.
Don't
Yeah.
don't discount it. Don't discount it. It's all a beautiful part of your story, of this divorce journey, of this life journey, because these skills that the women in this program are learning now, acquiring and strengthening those muscles, this transcends way beyond the divorce. This is about next chapters. This is about living the life that you weren't living, reclaiming, recreating.
Yeah. It really is. The future is really unlimited, and you are unstoppable when you lean into that trust of self, when you have that evidence bank to back you up, when you are surrounded by the love and the support and the knowledge and the wisdom of other women who are going through the same thing. And that's what makes this program so incredibly special.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. So we just wanted to pop in here and share a little bit of that with you. Again, really just hopefully to touch you and inspire you and just to remind you that you're not alone and that there is a better path to a better divorce. And it does require you showing up for you and asking for help. And you are worthy of
That's
that.
right. And while this particular program is taking a pause to the end of the year, there's still help available for you. If you want help now, if you want to be a part of something now, reach out to us. There's
Mhm.
lots of opportunities. There's private coaching. There's lots of different ways that we can support you. So just because the group is on pause does not mean we ever want your life or your choices to pause.
No, especially, and also, listen, we have got the holidays coming up, and we know that that is a triggering time. If you're divorce
Mhm.
curious or you're already in one, and we know that looks and feels differently, you may already be navigating two houses, whatever it is, we know this can be a triggering time. So please stay connected with us. Please check us out at intuitivedivorce.com or on social media, Intuitive Divorce, because we are definitely putting out a ton of stuff all the time that will help support you. Listen to our podcast, check out our app, and definitely stay on our newsletter so that you are up to date on things and have all these aspects of support as you are navigating the rest of this year and setting yourself up well.
Thank you, Kristen. Beautiful
Oh,
class.
thank
Beautiful
you.
ending to this year's class and cohort. I could not be more proud of these mamas. They are so ready to continue their journey of building their incredible futures for themselves. It's really was stunning. I know this, every group
Uh,
is so special to us, and it was a beautiful ending today. So
It
thank
was a
you.
beautiful ending, and I couldn't be happier than to have you by my side.
Mm, thank you. All right, we'll be
We'll be
back.
back. Mwah.